All right, hello, we are on air. Welcome everybody. I'm Max from Human Colony, and I'm starting my short, brief webinar on alien medical policy. And today is July 9th, and it is in reaction to today's Jim's channeling of the Kerr. It was an exciting webinar. So you can look it up on Human Colony, Hucolo TV on YouTube for July 9th. And there, Tucker mentioned that the representatives of Earth governments expressed their interest in getting medical treatments for their individuals, basically members of governments, members of military, members of possibly other establishment.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for joining. We're already on air. And that would be, we have with me Fana Zenba and Carolina. Welcome, my friends. All right, so basically, they said that they would be interested in medical treatments. The whatever military establishment representatives, and the aliens were thinking that it would be unethical to treat the establishment and not to treat others. So I already sent my telepathic messages to the current friends, to our alien friends, suggesting that that's a great opportunity and they should take that opportunity and offer the treatments to whoever can come. And now I just want to broadcast that opinion. That's basically opinion, a suggestion, my commentary. And again, the topic is that should alien treat our leaders, establishment leaders, or is it unethical? And first point is, it's our representatives, so it's not that very unethical. Whoever they decide is appropriate, I think they're entitled officially to decide, right, who to treat. So that basically would be the Earth's, our planet's decision who to send there for the treatment. And because they're leaders or an establishment, that's their job to choose who to send. So I think that would be first point why to approve that. Second point is, as a healer, I would treat anyone, right? So if someone comes to me and I don't approve of their political view or views or whatever personality, I would still treat them. So it's actually not for the doctor to decide who to treat. Basically, the doctor is to treat anyone, right? So that would be the second point. You're not deciding to treat bad guys versus good guys. You just decide to treat whoever comes versus don't treat at all. So I think from medical perspective, even treating bad guys or not so ethical guys is still okay. And the third point is, it's a great opportunity for developing human-alien relationships. Suppose you treat one of the leaders and save their lives, right? I'm talking now to the aliens. Suppose you, dear alien friends, treat one of our bad guys, like a dictator, and save them their lives. That might make them a little better. Of course, they would not live that long, but they would live longer if you treat them, possibly. But they would be exposed to kindness of the aliens, and possibly they would be also exposed to some information which they wouldn't get otherwise. So I can imagine, like, one of their, say, how do we call them? Um, Imagine a conservative, racist dictator, coming or potential dictator, right? Coming up there and being treated by the aliens. And suppose the treatment takes a week. Of course, they can treat him faster, but suppose that he stays there for a week, right? And while in their medical treatment facility, you could give him access to your information, like your internet. Give him like a laptop with a connection to your vast knowledge, and give him a, say, a meeting with an angel. I would say an angel would be much easier to get there than here. And maybe give him a psychic reading and reading of his future and whatever consultations he can get in a week. And just ask his questions. And I think that would that would change much. That would change much in that dictator. So, or dictator or whatever, military person or political person or financial person or a banker. Just spending in a higher vibration and a fourth density for a week would change them. So that's a great opportunity without any harm, without any hidden motives, without any implants, without any brainwashing, to actually brainwash them into the good. Tell them about their past lives and what are their mission in this life. That would be a great spiritual experience for them, and basically heal. I mean, their main pain is the fear, and all of them on the top, they are, what's it word, ridden? I don't know the word. Driven by fears, are populated by the fear. And after they see the bigger picture from up there, they wouldn't be as afraid anymore. And that would change the world. So from practical perspective, it's great to heal anyone. Now, how do you choose? Basically, another point number 4, whatever, is that you can't really give therapy to all billions of humans, right? Every human is sick. Every human needs your therapy. So you're not in the position to give therapy to all, whatever, 8 billions, right? So if you can't heal 8 billions, how can you choose less than 8, right? How can you choose 100 million? Still, there is no fair way of choosing. It's not possible to choose who to treat. I mean, it is just an impossible task. So a priori, from the beginning, there is no fair way to give treatments to all humans. So you have to choose, right? So it is not actually an action of treating and healing, curing all the humans. It is a gesture, a demonstration, and the beginning of the conversation. So it is more a demonstration of your capacity, a demonstration of your goodwill, a beginning of the contact, and a service. Now, in human, you might be worried that humans will see that as unethical, that you would take whoever you are sent by governments, right? So in human practice, it's usually solved by developing a policy and designing a committee which would take responsibility for that. So that wouldn't be decision of the whole Gorkfitnir or whole alliance. It would be a decision of specific individuals who volunteered to develop the policy and to choose who to treat. So suppose your first days you are sent 5 people, or so you are given a list of 5 people, and second day you're given a list of 50 people, and third day you're given a list of 200 people, right? And at some point your capacity would be limited. You can't treat them all. So you need a committee which would then make this very tough decision who to treat. And I would suggest make a committee from like interstellar, intergalactic, and include some humans in it, include some other representatives from Earth. Like I would suggest include a dolphin there, and yeah, seriously, a dolphin, or maybe a dolphin tribe, a representative of dolphin tribe, and maybe an elephant. It will be a wise committee, and it's impossible to make it fair, so you will have to make choices. And first choice, obviously, the most critical sick people who are not destined to die. Basically, there is a karmic plan, the divine plan for them, and so if it is possible, permitted by the divine plan for them to continue, then treating them would be a good option, right? So most critical cases. And the second thing, I would say it would be a nice, wise policy to treat important people. Just important, influential people. I think that would be a great policy. Because if you treat an influential person, you make them more positive. Yes, you extend their life, and even if they are negative, they will be negative for a longer time. But you make them more positive. You enlighten them. Next point, maybe number 6, is that maybe second practice in human society is to have quotas. Especially, it is a big practice in socialist countries and communist countries. So when the demand is big and supply is limited, you can get a quota. Like Americans have quotas on how many people they allow into the country for visas and citizenship. So for visas, not citizenship. So a quota is a very strange bureaucratic way to make unfair things seem more fair. So you can make a rule that for every government official that you treat one child, or a pregnant woman. And also you might propose to them to send you some scientific officials, influential scientists, special medical scientists, right? And maybe cultural influential people like artists, actors, directors, writers, and social figures and so on, religious figures. Because for them it would be not only treatment, not only the demonstration of a goodwill, but also eye-opening, enlightening experience, transformational experience. So the more people visit there, the better. Even if you count like few of them, tens of them, not hundreds, still it will be very big. Now, and the last point I wanted to make was to imagine, dear aliens, imagine how that can grow. So at some point it would be nice to train some humans to take part in medical work you do. So train our doctors to do the therapy, even as nurses. And then later that experience can be copied on Earth, and you can open alien clinics on Earth in some medical centers. Possibly initially in military medical centers, but later in civic medical centers. So that's a roadmap. It is a wonderful benevolent path of which can develop into wonderful collaboration when Earth doctors will treat aliens, aliens will treat humans, and there will be collaboration in the sky and on the ground. And that's about the end of the message. It's just an opinion. Of course, it is a judgment call. So that's my opinion. Take that offer. Take that interest from the military and establishment and take them up and cure them, especially the ones which are critically sick. And I invite discussion from the audience. Unmute yourself, speak up.
I got in late, Max, so I only heard the last part of what you said, so I really don't have a lot to say. I'm sorry.
I can repeat. Basically, I suggest, you heard what Takar said today, that military are interested in being treated in alien medical hospitals. So I suggest just do that. Treat whoever they send. It will be enlightening for anyone.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of something about that in that the aliens, do not want to allow any healing from them until it's opened up to everyone. Because the way it stands right now, the elite only want to be able to get healed.
Right. When you say everyone, do you mean like all 8 billion?
Yes.
I mean, it's impossible.
They want it to be, the aliens want it to be opened up so that they would be allowed to come here with their healing ships and help us. But see, the way it is right now, the elite want that just for themselves, not for anyone else. And so the aliens are like, we're not going to give it to you at all then.
It's impractical for them to refuse because, I mean, they can't treat the whole Earth. I mean, the problem on Earth goes beyond medicine. I mean, even if you cure every human, you know, they just cure more soldiers who will fight, right? So it doesn't solve the main problem. They can't really solve our problems for us. It could be only a demonstration of the goodwill. It cannot really become practical in terms.
We lost you, Max. I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, maybe your mic is not working. Maybe you can drop out and get back in or something, or mute and unmute, or
No, we can't hear you.
yeah, no, right. Wow, that's an interesting discussion, right? I mean, that's very interesting, all the points that he spoke about, like for me, I'd like still no sound right now.
I didn't say anything. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Now we hear you.
We can hear you, yeah.
I think what happened, I started being upset, or at least slightly upset, and the aliens just, or my guides or whoever, blocked my sound, so that part of my conversation wasn't recorded or broadcasted. Basically, my point was, would be any option would be unfair. Any option, whatever scheme you design or anyone designs, would be unfair. You can't really make a fair scheme for Earth. So it has to be partially fair, most practical, but it cannot be fully fair.
I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
What if there were clinics around Earth, and then the ones who don't want to go to the Earth clinics and are open to going to other planet clinics have the option to go to other planet clinics, and then they can do more, and then they can bring them back to Earth. More people, that is.
Right. How many aliens do you think are working on Earth project?
I have no idea.
My estimate is about maybe under 10,000.
I think more than that.
How many do you think?
Well, I think there are many, many ships out there, so you have to figure what would be on each ship, and some ships are really big. So
Right.
I'm thinking probably 30,000.
Okay. So our estimate is about 30,000 aliens are working. And what are their medical capacities?
Like, I don't know what their complete medical capacities are. From what I understand, there are many different kinds.
Yeah, I guess they can treat maybe 30,000 people or something per time period. Right? I mean, just the ability of aliens to interfere in human affairs is very limited. That I know for sure. They can't really, they're not ready to take so many humans without kind of establishing, without going through proper steps. I mean,
I
to
think it
take,
goes like as each person ascends to be able to allow that, then they would be allowed the healing. Um, so everyone wouldn't be at the same time. You know what I mean? Like everyone isn't progressing at the exact same time throughout the world.
you mean the therapy would be related to their spiritual stage of development, like frequency? That's what you
Yes,
mean?
yes.
So
And
would
the
they treat?
allowance to even be able to see them.
Uh-huh. No, that's for sure. That's automatic, right? So, you know, the lower frequencies can't even perceive the aliens for sure. And then higher frequencies, why do we need then the healing, right? If we are so high frequency. Yeah, at a certain point, you don't need alien healing because you are basically their level or level of for self healing, right?
Yeah, I don't know for sure what kind of healing. It just depends, I guess, and what they have in mind for healing, or what it is that they know about our past that maybe we don't know that
Mhm.
would require healing.
I'm talking about like cancer, like diabetes, typical things, major brain depression or disbalance, something like that.
I'm thinking that we're supposed to discover that on our own, don't you?
Right, but they are having the technologies, and they are. It's like it is like America discovered by America or whatever. America discovered by Americans, by Europeans, right? And they just bring the technologies, right? At some point, the Earth, maybe soon, like 40 years from now, maybe less, would be open to imports of technologies, right? So we have another 30, 40 years of developing our own, and then gradually they would allow importing of the technologies, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just reading an article that said dinosaurs actually had tumors as well. So has cancer been around forever? Is it something that can even be cured, or is it
Can I
something
say
that's more
something?
related to how we treat ourselves?
Yeah, yeah. Can I say something to that point?
Ah, thank
Uh,
you.
because I had to think just recently about cancer because I saw a video made by Teal Swan. She talked about the roots of illnesses, and she mentioned that like they manifest as mental, then emotional, and then physical. So I mean, and I guess that people that these specific people we're talking about are aware of this mechanism, but because of the blocking fears, they might not be able to heal from that themselves. So they, you know, uh, maybe. I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there to, I don't know,
I hear
because
you.
I realized that from that, yeah, I guess it's really the fears that don't allow for full healing. So
Yeah,
they
it's
have no,
always.
they are desperate in that. But I guess we're, yeah,
Yeah, it seems like every person that can say that they're free of cancer, my sister is one of those, remains very positive through the whole experience and keeps on being positive when they are in remission or healed. My sister now has been clean for several years, so we had a scare recently, but it ended positively, and she stayed positive again all the way through that. So I guess I have to say is your own human emotion, your own human consciousness has everything to do with dis-ease. So by raising your own thoughts, patterns, ability to consume what foods, all of that combined, mind, body, spirit, has something to do with the healing. From what I've seen, that's just from my experience.
I agree. Yeah, yeah. I guess it depends how, when you get there in establishment on the top, it's really hard to remain positive. It requires a certain mindset. A certain mindset. You have to be in certain vibration because otherwise you wouldn't stay there. Like as you know, yeah, these people. Some of them are visible on television. Most of them are even not visible on YouTube. Actually, there are even more people of that caliber. On one hand, they are positive. On the other hand, there are such energies coming through them, positive and negatives. Negative. So you get burnt in these energies.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming out and meditating may be an option for some of them, but for others, it's a very distant option.
Maybe it's a matter of not being able to really have enough dialogue about internal wounds to have with people around them. I'm sorry, I'm speaking just only from my imagination.
I totally agree with you there. I do. I think that a person needs support.
But yeah, I think the point Max just made is very crucial because the energies. I imagine the mixing the positive and negative energies to be so contradictory that would maybe drive them mad. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, most of these people are very compartmentalized. There is so many filters allowing them to remain humans and function. Say people in Congress, lawyers, financial people, because there is so many secrets. So many secrets. You have to keep the secrets. You know that funny historical fact. What's his name? Robert Monroe, I think his name. Monroe for sure, but first name I don't remember. Discovered basically the way to train psychics, remote viewers, and established a remote viewing institute somewhere in Berkeley, I think it was, in about maybe 60s and 70s. And they started seeing things for practice, and whatever government security people became interested, of course. And initially they were eager to meet, and then they figured out because remote viewers can see their minds and can trace the history, that would be and the remote viewers are not, what's that word, sworn, I guess, to secrecy, and are not cleared for security clearance. That would be for their function impossible to meet with them, or dangerous because government secrets could leak out to the public. So they would send people who don't have such high clearance, some intermediate people, to communicate with them because they were afraid of leakage. And it is funny, right? So most of our current establishment leaders. They know secrets which classified. So that causes. I mean, that would be causing pains and suffering and physical medical disorders. So treating them is a challenge, of course. But it is, if you can just manipulate the physical and etherical body, I think it's possible.
Well,
Yes.
from what I understand. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point that, like, focusing on alien technology, I mean, because it's literally at the end is going to be a decision of our government, and you know, we don't know the limits of the alien technology, and when you think about how much the governments are prepared to lose um, in terms of how much they're gaining in the medical drug, um, I don't know, companies,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so uh, my question is, how much can we actually contribute towards that that view of the aliens coming to us and giving us healing, when we know that it's potentially um, damaging the government's economical stability?
Ah, that's a good point. I don't have an answer. Yeah, that would be another fear. So yeah, if alien technologies come down, pharmaceuticals might be shaken, of course.
That's right. Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think our government would allow that at this point.
right.
Well, I think isn't mm, mm.
Well, they're unwilling to allow medical cannabis, so that tells me
But
they're not going to allow that either, because both would impact their earnings.
I mean,
no,
I could propose that this could become as as how do you call it? I'm sorry, my mind is in Spanish at the moment. It could become as open to the public as possible, so everybody's aware.
yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
uh, isn't this? I mean, I think it's a difference if we are talking about people who are making money off of the pharmaceutical industry and like people that are in a higher level of the actual control structures. So they have, just an awareness level, uh, from my understanding. Because, I mean, okay, maybe if you are aware that the pharmaceuticals that you are selling do not actually work but do harm people, that may be the same, because you are in the position where you are making the decision to actually distribute that. No. So they require a certain healing as well, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's you all raised interesting topics about alien drugs. Can the alien develop new drugs for us, or new?
Or have they already, or have they came up with a way to not have disease in the first place, so no need for drugs?
Oh, for sure, yeah, absolutely.
That's a big question right there. That would be awesome to think that there were no need for a drug in the future, you know?
Right. No. I was trying to marry the idea of alien therapy, which is not drug-based. Actually, I think all right, there is therapy, IEL medicine, Pleiadian medicine, and Lyran medicine, and other like Arcturian. So I think the most pharmaceutical are Pleiadians from Era. I heard they are pretty much into the pharmaceuticals as well. I know maybe not as much as we are, but at least they think in that direction about drugs and biochemistry and stuff.
They also have the healing with light, am I right? Light and sound?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of them, yes, all of them.
We were talking about the light and sound thing here recently on one of the webinars, and that really piques my interest. I know there are some healing abilities that can come from that, so I want to learn as much as I can.
In terms of economy, selling the devices which are therapeutic versus drugs, it's a different margin of sales, different volume of sales. Because if you prescribe someone a drug, then they pay like monthly, daily, and the devices, the time for the device usage is like years. So it's a different profit. So yes, it would damage the pharmaceutical industry. So they have to be aware of that danger coming and rearrange their priorities. But on the other hand, people will become way healthier. Yeah, like
I don't know, I think it works in a kind of a mad circle right now. Like the pharmaceutical companies have bought off certain people in our government that, so that they can continue to make the drugs that they do. And as far as cancer goes, I really don't think that they're interested in a cure because there's just too much money to be made with the disease.
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, my point was that regardless of how wonderful this healing technology is, my question was how far are our governments willing to give up the income, basically. So yeah, that was something that was in my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to be released of the pressure of generating the profit somehow. I mean, if they feel that there is this weight of expectation on them from family guys, people standing next to them, close to them, friends, family, then they will of course continue what they are doing.
Yeah, that brings up again the topic of 2027. I came across that elsewhere, unrelated to Jim's channel, and so it's coming through other channels as well. I guess at some point our economy will change a lot, and at that point, I guess there would be a possibility for and demand for things which are cheaper and easier to produce and easier to share, like more like open source therapy.
Can I ask, Max, do you think that they, knowing that, like we were just talking, or Sabrina was talking about this morning, a UFO crash, and that there were some surviving beings, so if they were hurt, is there any way that they can, well, you'd think they could, channel the way to help them? Like, I'm aware that there was a being at one point that lived for a while and then got sick and they couldn't cure him, but I wonder why wouldn't they be able to channel that information about how to help that being? Because I know that there are, like channelers in the military that you would think they would have someone that was able to relay that to the doctor or whatever to be able to help them.
Right. You don't have to channel. You can ask. They can ask. They have the phone line to our Gurkvitnir people. They don't have to use channelers.
Yeah, but they put them in rooms where they're not able to communicate.
No, I mean the guys who capture them, they can ask.
Oh yeah.
Gurkvitnir could
so
share.
Do you think that they just aren't aware of who to ask, or that they just don't want to ask?
Of course they're afraid, but they have intermediate appointed contact people. So hey guys, if you have trouble healing aliens, you can ask, and you'll be given help directly from Gurkvitnir, I'm sure. I mean, that's kind of obvious. On the other hand, I think it is there is a positive side of that, because having captured aliens kind of is also a way of contact. They are afraid to permit the aliens to come down, but when they capture them, they actually want them. It's like, the similar situation is reversal of psychology when there is a divorce and the husband is former ex-husband is in a court fighting for the right to have children, to see the children a certain percent of time, and then they get this right. They actually are with children and paying more attention to children than they were during the marriage. So in the marriage, you spend 10% of time with children, and then after a divorce, you spend more like 50%. So same thing here. They didn't want aliens to come down, but when you capture them, they actually communicate. So I think there is a positive side to that. But of course, we want them to be released and want them to be free and want them to be healed, of course.
Exactly. That was my concern, is that at least to be healthy, if they have this need to keep them, to question them, whatever, fine, I guess. I'm kind of against that too. But if they're going to do that, at least try to keep them healthy as possible by using, like you said, connections that they obviously know.
Yeah, I'm sure Greg Fitneer can send a doctor with equipment down there.
The issue, though, but the issue with that is that it's not about that. I think they should be able to leave if that's what they want to do, because if we are trying to establish relationships with extraterrestrials, we should treat them like we want them to treat us. And just like we didn't like it, when things are done to us without our permission, things should not be done to another being without their permission. And if they wanted to come back and say, hey guys, we're willing to talk to you and stay here and talk to you, but we want to be able to come back and forth. Now that's something that they could negotiate.
That would take trust, right, Sabrina?
Yeah. But there's feedback from somebody. But that's the challenge there, that we can't just say, okay, if they're healthy, so you're keeping somebody healthy, but against their will.
Well, I don't think that's okay. I said I didn't think that was okay.
Yeah.
I'm not for that, but I mean, to just let them die is just heartless too.
Right, but under what conditions?
Right.
Do you see what I'm
saying?
Maybe
they'd rather die than be kept captive. I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Depressed.
Yeah, and I think it would be good if we could all, if we, the people that are interested in aliens and all of these things, if we spread the word that there are these capture ETs that were good, they weren't up to no good, and that we would like them released. Because right now it's hidden. Nobody knows about it. I knew about it because whoever it was wanted me to know it. But nobody knows about it.
Can I ask? I'm sorry, but I didn't really get the point. Who exactly are we talking about right now?
Okay, so there was a ship that went down in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And Tucker confirmed it for me today, and somebody else had confirmed it for me also. And there were 5 ETs there. I know there were Pleiadians, and I think some were UL. I know one of the ULs died because I saw it. I think 3 were captured, 2 died. It's near a small. Yes, it's near a small town in Arizona. Yeah, because I saw all of this. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I was told before it happened.
Oh
So
wow.
I send them the warning.
Sabrina, when did this happen? Which day?
I believe it was last Friday. This Friday, but I was told a week before.
Wow. Nice miracle.
And I try to warn them and tell them, and they try to check and see, because I knew about it, but I guess too many.
I can vouch for her because she started talking to me about this about a week ago.
They 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 try to check and see who where, but it's just too many ships.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't help them. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so now I just want to try and help them somehow, the ones that are captured.
Yeah, so they have 3 now, right, that they're holding hostage.
Yeah.
Are this Yael?
Can you?
It's I'm not sure.
Did you say one Yael and the rest
I saw
Palladian?
one. I didn't see all of them. I only saw one that was in the ground.
Uh-huh.
I saw him. He lifted his head and sort of like, almost like he looked at me, kind of thing. But he was dead. He died.
Mm-hmm.
Max, why did you say a miracle?
A miracle, of course.
But we are talking about wrecked ship and dead.
I mean, a miracle that Sabrina was warned a week before, and she was able to channel and see the stuff. And it was a confirmed miracle. Basically, it was confirmed from different sources. It's nice to have just another
Yeah.
confirmation of that extra powers.
Yeah. I was hoping to hear something in the news, but I didn't hear anything.
I googled, I found fewer, but there is so many reports of UFO crashes. I mean, it was hard to find which one was that.
Yeah, sometimes we don't hear about it for a while after it's happened, too.
Yeah, it was in the Arizona desert.
So
But
yesterday
yeah.
it was crashed yesterday?
No.
Friday the 1st?
Yeah.
I got it. No, I didn't see any reports for Friday, July 1st.
Yeah. I know. I was like, because I thought I thought, okay, if it becomes the next Roswell, that would be good.
Yeah,
If
I mean, there
you
is a
can't
positive
help
side to
it.
that as well.
Yeah. So, but I'll let you guys get back to your conversation. Sorry.
Well, it kind of had to do with that because, we were talking about, how health and matters like that. And, if they are holding 3, then how do we know that their health is okay? How do we know that? I mean, maybe you'd like to be able to channel them, but like you said, if they're being held in a room where they have all of that blocked, then there's no way to get through to them. They can't get through to their homeland. It must be very scary for them to be stuck in this room that doesn't allow them to communicate.
I don't think aliens are that easy to scare. I think they are more like saints, at least from my perspective. They
You think
understand.
saints? I don't know. I don't think they always tell the truth either, so I don't know if I'd go so far as saints, Max. That, good and bad in all beings is how I think about it, and I have heard good and bad stories, so I like to keep that
Well,
even point of view.
I mean, they're psychic. They're very psychic. They have understanding of their karmic path, of their connection to the spirit, of their connection to the past lives, and all of that. I'm
So a
pretty
lot
sure.
more wise.
Yeah, they remember their past lives. So for them, the death, I don't think is as scary as for humans, because for most humans, it's like still most humans don't believe they will live again. For them, it's like end point. And for aliens, they understand basically the reincarnation for them is is not a belief, but they know about it from inner psychic ability. So, but again, I mean, it's just it's
Ray, can you talk today?
what?
I was wondering if Ray could talk today because she had some interesting stuff she put on the side there. That would be nice if she could say it.
Oh,
Do you see the side chat, Max?
oh no,
You don't? Okay.
I see now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she's just talking about. Oh, she can't talk. She's at her parents' house. So you can go ahead and read it if you want to, Max.
Go ahead, could you read it? Your English is a little better.
I'm fairly telepathic in my dream states. I can stretch out my antennas to these beings in this idea and see if anything comes. Even if my consciousness stops at a building where I know they're in there, it may be something. I don't think I can be of much use other than that and being in contact with you guys about it. Sorry, I'm at my parents' house. You can read. Well, oh, she'll keep us updated.
That'd be very helpful, though, or if Ray could do that for us and just kind of see if she can't feel where they're at least.
Yeah, see, I tried to see where it was, so I managed to walk through this little town that is next to the crash site. But I couldn't figure out the name of the town.
Uh-huh.
But I know there was, there was this small town next to it. I think a few people saw it. But I'm not sure if it got recorded or anything. So I haven't tried to see any more about it. So I have to try and see if I can get any information on the ones that were also. I think it would be good if we try and do that, using our different abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what Ray was just saying to everyone, to open up and try to receive pictures that tell a story for you.
Also, we can do a. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's just an intention put out. Anyone can do this. Actually, I recommend everyone here to open receiving pictures like this and stay in contact with each other. It's great. This is out for everyone to hear and participate in. Actually, if I can, like, my feeling right now is that I am kind of wondering what this is about, because I don't get any negative activity from all of that. So, but it's the first time I actually hear about yell of the aliens being heard. I never heard anything like that. It's the first time I hear something like that, but so it kind of got me puzzled right now. But I don't. When I listen to my intuition, I don't feel there's like no resistance, nothing to be figured out. That's my problem I have right now. I don't know what. I can't. So I don't know.
What do you mean? What do you mean, no resistance?
Well, usually I feel conflicts arising from something, but when I listen to that, to the energy of it, I don't feel.
Yeah, because these are good guys. These weren't, they're I'm pretty sure that their ship was sabotaged by Greys. So, and I knew that beforehand. Um, because I was given that information. But
sorry, I got a mosquito here. It kind of bugs me. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
so, but they're obviously they weren't here to do anything, and hopefully the government realizes that and lets them go.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder whose decision is to release them.
Yes, good question, Max.
Congress?
Yeah.
But just I mean, I don't. We had this two streams of conversation. First, this is the second part, and first we were talking about the healing of governmental people. And Max, maybe I have a question. Because do you have any because from my understanding there are different levels of authority, so to speak, um, in within the government and the shadow government and stuff like that. So can you maybe point out who exactly the healing would be addressed to? Like, is it the top people on Earth in physical bodies, or is it like is it representatives that are in the public?
I don't think it was discussed in that much detail. I think what Tucker said, they expressed the interest. So I don't think the structures have been formed who decides on human side who to send. But obviously, I mean, they would be interested. Obviously, they would be interested. And if they did, I mean, you could imagine there is, I'm sure there is international unified organization which deals with extraterrestrials, like Men in Black or something like that. Because, all presidents have been briefed, different countries, so there is international secret organization which deals with that. And then there are layers and layers of between this organization and the ones who deal with human economy and military alliances and stuff like that. So who will go? I don't know. But there are influential figures, and some of them are critically sick. So I would say those would be first candidates, like rich people or political figures or military figures. Or their family members. I mean, there are important, there are people who would they. I would say there is possibly some consensus.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know. Is it sufficient?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the whole system is so messed up. It's very fragmented. It's well described by Richard Dolan. Richard Dolan in his several books of on shadow projects and black projects and black economy and you know uh, Men in Black. Yeah, so there is certain. Um, there was that book, The Day After Roswell, by the officer who was investigating, and he saw the bodies, and he kind of was aware of the things. Somewhere, high clearance in the. He worked mostly in Washington, and he described the compartmentalization of defense activities, not only in the American government, in all governments. Like in America, there is certain compartmentalization, so different parts of this security forces are kind of separated, and they don't even share secrets between each other. Each of them has its own budgets and own agendas and so on. So it's a very fragmented system, and all of them have sick people and members of a family who are sick. So all of them would be interested in sending their people to be medically treated.
Yeah, I think.
But the issue with that, Max, is that yes, they all want that. But I think that for Gertneer, that's a bargaining chip. if they grant
Translate.
that, you know that you lost the big wild card you have there.
Can you explain what does it mean bargaining chip and what does it mean what will be lost?
Okay, so you know how sometimes, because they're trying to bargain the first contact, the site to site, all right? So
Right?
you know you have it, each side has their own interests,
Yes.
and each side wants to accomplish a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
So each side has something that they can give to the other one
Mm-hmm.
in exchange for something else.
All right.
If Gert Veneer gives them that, but they don't get anything in exchange, you just lost a big, that's why it's a bargaining chip. You just lost a big bargaining chip you had when you could say, okay, we will take your family members, but we will also take regular humans that are sick.
Right. Yes and no. I mean, there are ways around, right? You can start with, say, 10 people and then expand it to 50 people and then keep it at a certain rate, and then it will be like a demo version.
Right. But you say, okay, we'll take 5 of you and 5 of regular people. You know?
Right. I agree.
You,
I agree
so
absolutely.
so they know, okay, you know, you're not gonna take me for a fool because I'm giving you something and we're not getting anything. And if the idea is to help human and to help humanity, the problem with where you give it to the military, what ends up happening in those instances is you start to lose the faith of the people.
Which people?
The regular people, you
I
know,
understand. I understand.
because now you're simply negotiating for the military and for those that have always held the power and have gotten everything, you know, and the ones that have that are in the wheel, so to speak, trying to figure out how to make themselves healthy with little or no health insurance, don't have a chance.
Right. Can I would like to address that. So my experience was in Soviet Union, and it was very much like the first contact and very much like development of the contact after the first contact. So Stalin had Iron Curtain, and it was pretty strong until maybe 60s when Khrushchev came, and and then there was obviously people who were sent out were exactly that kind of establishment. There was, um, everyone who was sent, and usually these were like historians, scientists, cultural leaders. They all were party members and cleared for security on every level. So they were at the same time. It would be an artist, and he might have like strong relationship with government security people, strong tested relationship. So did their Soviet people lose the trust into the American? The even the establishment people, when they came back, the truth kind of was shared. I mean, it's impossible to hide the truth. It's just there is an exchange, even if this would be like um, KGB, how it translates, government security people going back and forth. There will be so much information coming back, which would be impossible to hide. Because right now they know very little. Their knowledge is very confused. We know more about the aliens than they do, I would say. And as they start going, the positive effect would be even bigger. Uh, would be even bigger. Now, would the Earthens lose a trust in Gurkvitnir because Gurkvitnir allowed certain number of establishment? to be treated? I would say, if Gorkfitnir behaves appropriately and explains the actions, I think it would be understood.
If it was mixed, if it was 5 and 5, I think it would be understood. I think if it was done the other way, because I understand what you're saying. The difference with when it was the Soviet Union, was that everyone in the Soviet Union had the awareness of otherwise. They could see the difference, or they had the awareness of difference of somewhere else. So though you had no chance of acquiring it, because of how the country was ruled, you had the awareness of otherwise. Here, there isn't that. The average person has no awareness that healing can happen within the body faster, easier, and with very little damage to the body. But I think if most people had the awareness of that, they would say, okay, more of the status quo. I think that would be what would happen. And since you're trying to establish, because it's not just about that, we're trying to establish a relationship here where trust is very, very important. So every step that each side takes is very, very important, to both sides, not just one side. So that whatever it is done, you have to see, particularly with the humans, how they are going to react to what they do. Because it might not be that. Your intentions might be to, okay, first bring the military and then the people. But that kind of behavior can backfire on you. And those are the kind of things that we have to take into consideration when we start doing certain negotiating, as opposed to saying, okay, we will have 5 military, but you gotta let us take 5 humans, regular humans.
Yeah, children.
Whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But I think that is a good gesture of goodwill. Good gesture. It's for a doctor to refuse treating even bad guys, I think is not ethical. If they can treat, if they can send some sick people, it doesn't really matter if this would be. How can you decide? There is no way to decide fairly. There is more fair, less unfair, but you can't really decide fairly. There is 8 billion people on Earth, and most of them need treatment. So you can't really.
Yeah. Or people that are very sick. I would say, you would pick 5 people who are very sick, and or the 10 people. They have to be very sick. It can't be something. Even the ones in the military, it has to be somebody that is very sick. That here on Earth, you really can't help them. Obviously, they have to know that they can help them, because otherwise it would create problems. Because do you really think, Max, that they have really figured out human physiology?
Who?
The ETs.
Figured out what?
How we function, the human physiology.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. They worked on that for many years, and they have many humans out there, so their medical science is pretty good. Pretty good, yeah. My friend was operated for cancer, and I have firsthand kind of interview. Yeah, there is a book, X-ray Extraterrestrial Medicine. I highly recommend on Amazon. Very inexpensive, nice book. Now imagine, say, a president candidate, visits them and spends a week in a space hospital around the Earth being treated. What would be the consequences for their behavior as a president?
In what sense?
how would it change their attitude towards aliens?
I would hope in a positive way, but we don't know that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, yeah, I know. What's his name? Bob Dean spent like 3 weeks in Alien Sanatorium. He was very happy about that. I think he was in Pleiades, maybe on one of the planets in Pleiades. That was a fascinating account.
Okay. Yeah, I have not heard about that, but
It would be nice if they could help with a lot of the psychological problems that seem to be going on right now in America. I don't know that so many other countries are suffering so much from the violence that we have here. And it's very sad to me that, you really can't turn on the news at all, or even on your computer homepage. You just got to hurry up and get past that to get to your business, because every day is just completely, um, well, it's pounded into your head, the violence, if you let it.
Right.
And I would like to see that some of the people that are suffering from the psychosis helped for sure. And I know that that's one thing, like here in Montana, we did have one mental health center, and in the last 2 years it was shut down. And so there just isn't a lot of help for those who are truly mentally incapacitated. And it's very sad. A lot of them end up on the street, where that's the last place you really want them, you know?
and in fact, Valerie, Max, that's from where I would pick 5 militaries who served on the Iraq War with mental issues to be healed. That would be the ones I would pick.
Oh, I don't know that it should be all military, though, you know?
No, 5. 5. The 5 that are military, I would start there. I would
I just
start
think
with
there's
them.
so many young people that are suffering
And
too.
then the other 5. Yeah, but the thing is that you can't, the first few from the military.
I know there's a lot of young people that went in the military too, but I'm talking about young people that aren't even that age yet, that like join in the suicide pacts and that kind of thing in high schools. And I don't know that all schools have that, but we have had instances of that happening here in Montana, and it's so sad, and it just needs to be addressed. Why? What's causing this?
But that's and Valerie, what I would argue about that is that because that is their experience and something, and as we all know, we all come with things that we're going to do. Part of their homework is to figure out their way out of that. And you better than anyone know this. So
yeah, but I do know that there's a lot of people that are not quite strong enough to, to handle some of the stuff that I went through.
right.
And I'll be first to admit that it's extremely hard to come out of it unscathed, and I did not come out of it unscathed, and that's what I'm working on now.
But that's the thing. That's the issue. That's where we have to take responsibility.
Well, that's what I was going to continue saying, is that I would wish for others to get help much sooner than 55 years old, to be able to find that help. And I mean, I am so blessed at even 55 to have been able to find help. But for me, I would wish that the help could come sooner for all those suffering, not just from the traumatic things that I did, but I know that each person has their own limits of suffering that they can deal with without losing it, so to speak.
Of course.
And, I can't judge what that limit is. For some people, it could be the smallest little thing. But if there was just help that they could go to, You know what I mean? That they feel comfortable to be able to go to um, without having to mortgage their house.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. If somebody came and took off all the mental burden that there was within you into, I don't know, an hour, all right? Do you think whatever you learned and were meant to learn, you would have gotten that out of that if that would have been done?
Well, I can say that I would have not known the difference had help came sooner. You know what I mean? But it could have changed, yes, it would have probably changed my life in many ways. And a lot of those ways I would hope would be better, you know?
Yeah,
So from my heart is where I'm speaking,
I know.
and that I wish that the mental help could just be there for people. Right now, I realize that it's just, there's so many that need this help. So many coming back from this service, like you were talking, that are
Yeah.
young men and women that have, families that are having difficulties keeping their families together and treating their children the way that they should. For help for them is also most necessary. But then we have these kids that walk into a school and have a gun and do the wrong thing. I wish there could be an intervention of some sort that could catch that. That's all. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
yeah, I totally get you. And if it was up to me, nobody would suffer.
Yeah, me either. Me too.
Um,
You
but go ahead, Max. Were you going to say something?
I need to go soon. Let's wrap up with a meditation after you finish.
Okay, so I just want to say that I agree with you, but by the same token, as we both know, because there are some things to be done, and that's why we come to this plane, that some things are to be experienced. And I don't know if that would be seen as interfering with people's contracts, if you will.
Right, that's my point too.
So that there's a fine line there, and it just might be that they are meant to heal them, and some people, that was the end goal, that the ETs would heal them because that was something that they got put in the contract. But
Basically,
go ahead.
go ahead. Let's finish.
So that's just something to think about. I agree with you, but it's something to think about.
I just wanted to say that for psychology, in most cases, humans have to heal humans, but there is that informational field which is damaged, etheric field, the Earth informational field, which is bombarded and pulled from many sides by Earth plane figures and extraterrestrial consciousnesses, and that's where we need protection, and we invite more help from our friends to clarify, beautify, purify the informational field. There is a lot of work which is done on etheric part of the field, where they can help, and which is inaccessible to us. I wanted to invite the healing meditation towards the captured extraterrestrials, which were captured on July 1st in Arizona. Valerie? Sabrina?
Yes, we're here.
Will you join?
Yes.
All right.
certainly.
Ayalahanna hanna ulam Alahana Alahayamana Alahayamana Raina Ulayahamahana Ulayahamam Ulayahamahana Ulayahamam Ulayahamahana Ulayahamam Anam Aramaya. Go ahead, do your
Thank you.
part.
Go ahead, Val.
Akia ko kia Akia ko
Ihatayalanauma, Ihatayalanauma, Shatura Hana, Shatura Hana, Itahayanauma, Itahayanauma, Shatura Hana, Shatura Hana, Ulahana, Uyahalahuna Haina, Ulahana Yunahalana, Halai, Aina.
One of the deities that were captured is talking to me. He's saying that they had the awareness that this would happen, that it wasn't their destiny. But they thank us for the energy that we are sending them. That he had seen one of the other ones, but he doesn't know what's happening with the other one. That at the moment they are okay.
Wow.
I'm sending distance Reiki right now.
Ulam, Uhailam, Uhaila, Haila, Haila, Ho, Araila, Ho, Aralana.
He enjoys your singing, Mac.
Mm.
He said, we knew we would become part of the history of Earth. It was in our awareness. We knew that these things will come to pass. And so it's not something desired. It was meant to be this way. We thank you for your awareness. And we thank you for the energy of this time. We are being questioned about technology in our ships.
Ayana, 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 ayana. Ulana ayarana, ayarana, uma ayarana, ayarana, ula ayarana, ayarana, ula ayarana, la ayarana, ula ayarana. Ayarana, ula ayarana. Hallelujah.
There are two humans that are in charge of questioning, and there's 12 that observe as we are questioned. As you know, some information cannot be given, or you can harm yourself. We know what is to come, and we accept our destiny. Thank you.
Can you tell, are they Palladian and Yael, or could you tell, Sabrina?
The one talking to me is Pleiadian.
Ahim Saraswati Namo. Om Ahim Saraswati Namo. Om Ahim Saraswati 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 Namah. Om Ahim Saraswati Namah. Om Ahim Saraswati Namah. Om Ahim Saraswati, Saraswati, Saraswati Namo.
One of them is injured. I suppose the one that he hasn't seen. I can't see his face though.
What did you say?
But the third one is injured. It's not severely injured though. But he is in bed. That's why he hasn't seen it.
I suggest they would request the help from Graphitmir for their therapy. it should be possible to bring it up.
I will tell that to him. Okay, I suggested that. All right, he disconnected. I could see the room where he was in.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you all for helping them.
Max, we can't hear you.
Oh, nope, no sound. Okay, bye, Max. He's got to
Bye,
go.
Max. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste, Max.